The next characteristic of this language is that language is non-instinctive. Language is called non-instinctive. So the next characteristic of the language is non-instinctive language. Language is called non-instinctive. Non-instinctive means it is made by man. Actually, this language is made by man, means this language is the creation of man. We have learned that this language has created by God. Actually, it is true. It is true as per the saints, but actually scientifically it is proved that this language is not made by God, but it is the instinctive language. Means this language has been made by man, and that's why language is not instinctive. Means it is not easy. It is not inborn capacity. It is the learnt capacity. Means when man comes to this world, he learns this language, and that's why this language is called the non-instinctive language. So this language shows the features like linguistic and communicative. So this language is linguistic. Linguistic means this language has the linguistic features. Means this language has phonology. This language has morphology. This language has grammar. This language has, I will say, morphology. And this language has semantic features, and this language has syntactic features. So it is very true that this language is linguistic. So it is non-instinctive. So it is man-made. Because when we want to learn the linguistic features of language, then we have to go into the colleges, and that's why this language is linguistic. And communicative. Communicative means this language has the grammar. This language has the grammar. This language has the structure of SVOC pattern. Means we have to learn the sentence with the help of the SVOC pattern. So subject is there, verb is there, object is there, complement is there. So in this way, SVOC pattern means when we will learn the SVOC pattern, then we can communicate with this language, or we can speak this language. So this language is non-instinctive language. So we will take one example of a child. When we send a child into the first school means when the child goes into the KG, that is called kindergarten. When that child goes into the KG standard, from that standard the child learns language with words and phrases. Means the alphabets of that language in English, in Marathi, in Hindi are taught to that child, and that child learns those alphabets in that standard, and this is called the language is non-instinctive. Thus the language is non-instinctive. We can say only man can learn the language on the earth. It is true, it is correct that only the man can learn this language on this earth. There are the animals. There is also the language of the animals. But the language of the animals is only the communication. Means the animals can do only the communications with each other. But naturally, they have no capacity of inquiring language like the man. Means when we compare the animals with animals, the animals with man, or the man with animals, when we compare, then we can say that man can learn this language so easily, but animals cannot learn this language easily because they have no capacity of learning man's language. This animal or these animals learn language with heritage. With heritage means I will say that heritage means what? If dog is there, the dog will learn barking. Barking is called, we can say boo, boo, boo. We can say boo, boo. This boo, boo will be learned by that dog from the parents. The parents of the dog were barking, and that's why this new dog is also barking. So these animals learn their language with heritage. So the cow communicates with hamba. So the new cow, that is called calf, that calf also will do the same sound, means hamba. So means they will communicate only, but they will not learn the language like the man, and that is called the non-instinctiveness of the language. Means only on the earth man can learns language. No other animal can learn this language on the earth. It means the young dog will bark like its parents. Means as the parents of that dog will bark, in the same way the new dog also will bark. So this is the difference of man and the animals, and this is the difference of man and animal in the sense of the language. But the man has born not with the language. The next point we will see is that this man has not born, or he has not taken birth with the language. It means when man comes to birth, he cannot speak language. We cannot say that, oh, that child has taken a birth and that child spoke language. He spoke English, he spoke Marathi, or he spoke Hindi. We cannot say like this, because language is not spoken by the child. When that child goes into the school, that child can speak that language, can learn that language, write that language, and then speak that language. But he has these features, means the man has the language features, means man can speak language, man can write language, with which he can learn the words. Means when the man learns words, when the man learns phrases, or when the man learns sentences of the language, then he can learn the languages in the world, and then he writes that language, or he speaks that language easily. Thus, the language proves to be non-instinctive. It means that easily man cannot speak language, easily man cannot write language. There are our grandmothers, there are our grandfathers. They they speak language, but they do not write language. When we learn this example, then we can say that language is non-instinctive, because they speak a language by listening to others, but they cannot write that language. Why? Because language is non-instinctive. So we can take one example. If a child is put in the animals, if a child is put in the school, that child will learn the language. But if a child is put in the animals, or in the company of animals, that child will learn the language of the animals. That child will not learn man's language. That child will learn the language of the animals. Why? Because we have put that child in the company of the animals. That's why the child will learn the animal's language. So this language is non-instinctive. Non-instinctive means it is the language which demands the efforts of man, which demands the attempts of man. We have to make a lot of attempts, then we can learn language. So we can say that, in this way we can say that this language is non-instinctive. But the child learning in the school, when the child goes into the school and learns that language, writes that language in the school, that child learns the language and writes the language, speaks the language, and that same child becomes old and dies with the same language. So in this way, with this explanation, we can say that this language is non-instinctive. Here we finished our topic. I hope that you will learn it properly or you will do it properly. Thank you. Thank you very much.